The Bubble Trouble Adventure. It was a sunny morning in Giggle Grove, and all the children were gathered in the park for Bubble Day, their favourite event of the year. Huge buckets of bubble solution were everywhere, and everyone had giant bubble wands to create the biggest bubbles they could. Tommy's ambitious bubble-making attempt leads him to float above the park, sparking laughter and friendship as Lucy and the other children rally to help him, ultimately turning a silly mishap into joyous fun. Tommy, the tallest boy in Giggle Grove, had a mischievous grin on his face. "I'm going to make the biggest bubble ever," he declared, dipping his wand into a bucket. Tommy's ambitious bubble-making attempt leads him to float above the park, sparking laughter and friendship as Lucy and the other children rally to help him, ultimately turning a silly mishap into joyous fun. Lucy, the littlest girl, giggled and pointed. "But Tommy, what if it's so big it floats you away?" "Pfft, that won't happen," Tommy said confidently. "Watch this!" Tommy waved his wand, and out came the most enormous bubble anyone had ever seen. It was as big as a watermelon, then as big as a beach ball, and then, pop, it burst, sending bubble soap splashing everywhere. The children laughed as Tommy wiped soap off his nose, but Tommy wasn't giving up. "Bigger!" he shouted, dipping his wand again. This time, the bubble grew and grew and grew until it was as big as a car. Suddenly, the wind blew, and before anyone could blink, the bubble stuck to Tommy and lifted him off the ground. "Ah!" Tommy yelled, flailing his arms. "I'm flying!" The kids gasped. "Tommy's in the air!" Lucy squealed, pointing at the boy floating like a balloon. "Don't pop it!" shouted Jake, laughing so hard he could barely stand. "Help me get down!" Tommy shouted, but he started laughing too because the whole situation was so silly. His feet dangled as the bubble carried him over the park. Lucy grabbed her tiny bubble wand and chased after Tommy. "I'll save you!" she called, blowing tiny bubbles into the air. But instead of saving Tommy, her bubbles started sticking to him, making him look like a human bubble sculpture. "Now I'm covered in bubbles," Tommy laughed. The kids couldn't stop giggling. Some were rolling on the ground, holding their stomachs, while others jumped up and down, pointing at Tommy. Finally, the wind calmed down and Tommy's giant bubble gently floated him back to the ground. As soon as it landed, pop, it burst, leaving Tommy sitting on the grass with bubbles all over his head. "Next time," Tommy said, grinning as he wiped soap from his hair, "maybe I'll stick to smaller bubbles." Lucy handed him her tiny wand. "Or maybe you should try these!" Everyone laughed so hard that they all fell over, covered in bubbles and tears of joy. Bubble Day became the funniest day Giggle Grove had ever seen. The Flying Underpants, a hilarious laundry day adventure. It was a sunny day in Wigglewood, and all the animals were excited for the big laundry day. Every year, they washed their clothes in the giant pond, hung them on the line, and had a picnic while everything dried. The animals face off against a sudden gust of wind that sends a pair of bright red underpants flying, leading to a hilarious race to retrieve them, culminating in laughter and unexpected fun during their laundry day. Benny the bunny hopped over to the line with a big basket of colourful clothes. "Time to hang these up," he said cheerfully. Suddenly a gust of wind blows through, sending the clothes flying, including a pair of bright red underpants. But as Benny hung the clothes, a sudden gust of wind blew through Wigglewood. Whoosh! "Oh no!" Benny cried as the clothes on the line started flapping wildly. Then, to everyone's surprise, one pair of bright red underpants flew off the line and into the air like a kite. "It's flying away!" squealed Penny the pig, pointing with her hoof. The animals gasped as the underpants floated higher and higher. "Quick!" shouted Benny. "We need to catch it!" The animals raced after the runaway underpants. Benny hopped as fast as he could while Millie the mouse squeaked, "It's heading toward the apple tree!" Sure enough, the underpants floated right into the tree and got stuck on a branch. "I've got this!" said Oscar the owl, flapping his wings. He swooped down toward the underpants, but just as he reached them, another gust of wind sent them flying again. This time the underpants landed on Daisy the cow. "They're on my head," Daisy mooed, wobbling in circles. "I can't see." The animals burst out laughing as Daisy spun around with the red underpants like a silly hat. Finally, Benny leapt high into the air and grabbed the underpants. "Gotcha!" he said triumphantly. Everyone cheered, still giggling at the ridiculous chase. As Benny hung the underpants back on the line, Millie said, "That was the funniest laundry day ever." And from that day on, the animals decided that laundry day wasn't complete without a little silliness and a flying pair of underpants. The invisible juice prank. It was a bright, sunny afternoon, and Sammy, Lily and Max were playing in the backyard. The picnic table was set with colourful cups, a big jug of juice, and lots of snacks. Max, known for his playful tricks, was pouring juice into the cups when an idea popped into his head. "This is going to be hilarious," Max whispered to himself, placing a clear, empty cup on the table. He held the jug over it, pretending to pour juice. "Juice is ready!" Max called out. Sammy and Lily ran over, their faces lighting up with excitement. Sammy reached for the clear cup and stared at it, tilting it left and right. "Hey, where's my juice?" Sammy asked, scratching his head. "What do you mean?" Max said, feigning surprise. "It's right there in your cup!" Lily looked at the cup and started giggling. "Max, the cup is empty!" Max gasped dramatically. "Empty? No way! That's invisible juice! You just can't see it!" "Invisible juice?" Sammy said, raising an eyebrow. "I've never heard of that before." "Oh, it's super rare," Max said, nodding seriously. "Go ahead, take a sip." Sammy hesitated, then lifted the cup to his mouth and pretended to drink. His eyes went wide and he grinned. "Whoa, it tastes like strawberries," Sammy said, smacking his lips. Lily burst out laughing. "Let me try," she said, grabbing the cup. She pretended to take a big sip and then beamed. "I taste pineapple and chocolate," she said, giggling. Max tried to keep a straight face but couldn't hold it any longer. He started laughing so hard he nearly fell off the picnic bench. "Gotcha! There's no such thing as invisible juice." Sammy and Lily looked at each other, then burst into laughter too. "That was the silliest trick ever," Sammy said. "But it was so funny." The three friends laughed and played for the rest of the afternoon, taking turns pretending to sip invisible juice and coming up with even sillier flavours. And from that day on, invisible juice became their favourite inside joke.
The Marshmallow Mischief. It was a bright, sunny day in Rainbow Village, and the park buzzed with excitement. Today was the big marshmallow roasting party. Ellie twirled her stick, Jake skipped in circles, and Sophie grinned mischievously. The friends gather around a fire, ready to roast marshmallows as laughter fills the air. "I can't wait to toast marshmallows," Ellie chirped, skipping toward the table. "Me neither," Jake cheered, gooey and golden. "Yum." But Sophie had an idea, a mischievous sparkle in her eye. "What if we play a little trick?" Sophie revealed squishy sponge marshmallows from her bag, looking just like the real thing. Giggling, they swapped the real ones for the fakes. As the others arrived, Max frowned at his unmelting marshmallow. "Hey, something's wrong." "Surprise!" Sophie laughed, holding up the real marshmallows. Laughter filled the air as everyone roasted the real treats. The sticky fun and playful mischief brought the children closer. It was a day to remember, full of silliness, friendship, and stories for the next marshmallow party.
The Missing Underpants Mystery at Wigglewood Elementary. It was a sunny day at Wigglewood Elementary and all the kids were buzzing with excitement. Today was costume day and everyone came dressed as their favourite characters. Timmy wore a pirate hat, Lucy came as a sparkly princess, and Max proudly strutted into class wearing his Captain Underpants costume, complete with a red cape and oversized white underpants over his pants. "Captain Underpants to the rescue!" Max shouted, striking a superhero pose. Everyone laughed and clapped. But just as the fun started, Max gasped. "Where are my super underpants?" he cried. "What do you mean?" asked Lucy, twirling her princess wand. Max pointed dramatically to his waist. "My special superhero underpants are gone!" The class gasped. "A missing underpants mystery!" Timmy said. "We've got to solve it!" The kids split up to search the classroom. Lucy checked the art supplies. "Nope, just paintbrushes and glitter," she said, sprinkling glitter everywhere. Timmy peeked under the desks. "Nope, just some old gum." Max flopped onto a beanbag in despair. How can I be Captain Underpants without my super underpants? Max flopped onto a beanbag in despair. How can I be Captain Underpants without my super underpants? Max flopped onto a beanbag in despair. How can I be Captain Underpants without my super underpants? Just then, Mia the mouse, the smallest kid in class, pointed to the classroom window. "What's that flapping outside?" Everyone rushed to the window and saw Max's underpants flying like a flag on the jungle gym. "Someone's raised the underpants flag!" Lucy shouted. "Captain Underpants to the rescue!" Max declared, running outside with the class following. Timmy climbed up the jungle gym and reached for the underpants. "Almost got it," he said, stretching his arm. But just as he grabbed them, a gust of wind blew the underpants away again. The kids chased after the flying underpants, laughing and shouting. Finally, Max leapt onto the swings and caught them mid-air. "Gotcha!" he yelled, holding the underpants triumphantly. Back in the classroom, everyone laughed as Max put his superhero underpants back on over his costume. "Thanks for helping, team," he said. "Captain Underpants couldn't have done it without you." From then on, Wigglewood Elementary declared Costume Day the funniest day of the year, especially when Captain Underpants was on the case.